Stan the Annuity Man here, America's annuity agent, and you are dying to know about annuities and long-term care. I get you. I understand that. It's a tough thing to solve for, and there's a lot of noise out there about how annuities can solve for long-term care, and I'm going to go through all the details, the good, the bad, the ugly, the limitations, and the benefits of annuities that do offer that type of protection and transfer of risk. And also a way to use annuities to pay for long-term care that a lot of agents and advisors don't think about. But at the end of the day, there's no perfect answer to this solution. Long-term care is a tough decision. There's not a perfect product out there or a perfect answer, even though a lot of people will tell you that they have it. But you just need to know the good and the bad and the limitations, the benefits, the truth about these products. And I'm getting ready to tell you that. Okay, so annuities and long-term care is the topic, and it's a good one, and it's timely, and a lot of the baby boomers out there's 10,000 people every single day that's retiring. That's a lot, and there's a lot of people that have family members that have dealt with long-term care, dementia, Alzheimer's. I know that my family's gone through that. I'll tell you a story that just hit home recently. My father passed away last April, and he had long-term care, and my mom and dad would always call me. Side note, I don't sell long-term care, okay, but it's a great product. But they had purchased long-term care and they've been paying for it for years. And every year they'd call me and say, should we continue to pay the premiums on the long-term care? And I'm like, yes, you should, because it's a transfer risk. Well, my dad got sick. He was declining pretty fast. And they put in their request for the long-term care to start kicking in. The bottom line is, by the time he passed away, they had not really gotten the payments. And my mom was mad. And of course, this year when it came up, my mom said, I don't think I'm going to renew the long-term care. And I'm like, no, Mom, you need to renew the long-term care. Long-term care should be looked at like car insurance or fire insurance, or, I have a place in Florida, flood insurance. You have to have it, or at least consider it. You don't have to have it, but consider it as a transfer risk just in case, because we're living longer, and I don't know if that's a good thing, but it is true. We're just living longer, and we're having to deal with some things. Every family's going through the dementia and the Alzheimer's stuff, and that might be the reason that you're looking at that. So let's kind of look at the long-term care solutions out there and the good and the bad of them, okay? So let's first of all look at long-term care annuity types, all right? So here's the long-term care scenario. And then first of all, you have traditional long-term care. That is the best coverage, period. I don't sell it, but it's the best coverage, period. I don't care what anybody tells you, it is. Now, if you don't want that, and a lot of people don't want that because they say, Stan, I'm going to put money in, give them money every month, and what if I don't use it? Kind of like my parents. Missing the point. Okay, it's still the best coverage. I will guarantee you that my mom will probably need the long-term care coverage, and it will be fantastic for her because it's in place, etc. Now, here's where the annuity side, so let's just come to the conclusion that's the best, but you might not qualify for that. Annuities have a couple versions of long-term care coverage. There's actually a long-term care annuity. It's a health insurance product, and here's how it kind of works in a very quick and efficient way to tell you. Let's just say you put in $100,000. With the long-term care annuity, it's called simplified issue. What simplified issue means is they're not going to take blood work or anything like that. What they're going to do is they're going to get you on the phone, do like a 20 to 25 question interview to see if you qualify. And if you do, what they'll do is they'll give you a multiple of that 100,000. So let's just say it's a 3 times multiple. And typically it's anywhere from 1 to 3 times multiple. What does that mean? That means you put in $100,000, the 3 times multiple is $300,000 that you can only use for long-term care. Now here's the good news, and the reason a lot of people like that, is if you don't need that long-term care coverage, like my father, then the $100,000 just comes back to the family. You never lose the initial principal. And I think with a lot of these, and there's not many, but most of them have like a small interest rate attached to that $100,000. So think of it as buying a crappy CD with some long-term care coverage. That's not bad. You still have full control of your money, and that's what a lot of people want. And then the most popular one out there now is what's called an income rider. An income rider is attached to either typically an indexed annuity, fixed indexed annuity, or a variable annuity. And it's an attached benefit that's typically used for income, lifetime income stream, but a lot of them have what's called a confinement care enhancement or what they call a doubler. So in essence, let's just say your income rider 10 years from now is going to pay you $5,000 a month. And remember, income is based on life expectancy at the time you take the payment. A lot of these income riders will have let's say a doubler that will increase that $5,000 to $10,000, and typically it's for a 5-year time period. They're not all the same. I wish they were. It'd make my life a lot simpler. So each carrier is a little bit different, but this gives you the gist of it. You know, you get an income stream, you get sick, you're going to have the doctor sign off on some specific things that you can't do, and then the annuity company is going to say, okay, you qualify for us to double that income or enhance that income. And typically it's a 5-year payout, and you say, Stan, why 5 years? What if I don't? What if I live forever? You won't. In most cases, when you qualify for something like that, you're going to live an average of 3 years and a maximum of 7. And that's just reality. That's the stats. That is what it is. People say, well, that really? Yeah, a lot of the times, like for instance, long-term care, they'll say, if you can't do 2 of the 6 daily functions of life, then you qualify. And what are those 6 daily functions of life? Feed yourself, clothe yourself, bathe yourself, those type of basic things. And as I tell everybody, and I'm sure we'll all get there, when that happens, life sucks anyway. Excuse my French, but it really, really does. And when that happens, and when you can't do those things, you live an average of 3 years and a maximum of 7. So this is kind of the basics. Magically, I'm going to clean the board in just 2 seconds. I'm going to come back and show you one more way to approach annuities and long-term care. All right, so this is a real case example that happened the other day, and the person kind of wanted to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. They could get long-term care, all right? So what they did is they got a policy on each husband and wife. So here was their long-term care policy, and each one had a policy, his and hers. Let's just say for conversation's sake, that was a $500 a month premium combined per month. That's the bottom line. And they said, yeah, we're going to do that, but we want to fund it with an immediate annuity, which made sense. So I said, here's what you do. You do a joint life only policy on an immediate annuity. Now, what is an immediate annuity? An immediate annuity is a pension payment. It's a lifetime income stream based on your life expectancy. In this case, life expectancy is at the time you take the payment. If you live forever, it pays forever. Now, the reason this worked pretty good, and the husband really liked this because he was trying to take care of his wife down the road, is that we reverse engineered the quote. And we reverse engineered the quote so that it was going to pay $500 as long as one of them were alive. So when he died, it paid $500 still. When she died, money went poof. And they were okay with that because what are they doing? They're trying to solve for long-term care. But here's the good part about this situation, and this is the reason you need to call me, StanTheAnnuityMan.com, because we do these type of things. I listen to you, and then we put together a customized plan. So the time they were alive, it was paying the $500 premium. So their long-term care was paid. But what happened? He's going to die, right? He hasn't yet, by the way. So he's going to die, and let's just say, for instance, that's $250 a month of his. So when he dies, we don't need the long-term care anymore, so that amount of money is not needed, but it's still going to pay hers. Let's say for math's sake, hers was $250. So what happens when he dies? The long-term care still gets paid for hers, but she gets an additional $250 in income per month because it's joint life only, solved for $500, which is kind of cool. It was kind of a legacy that he's leaving for his wife. I think I just dropped the marker. Anyway, leaving a legacy for his wife, paying for her long-term care, but then when he passes, then she gets an additional income stream. Bottom line, all of this is customizable. So keep that in mind when you contact us at StanTheAnnuityMan.com to run the quotes and to put together possibly a customized strategy for your specific situation. All right, I know that was a lot. We went through a lot. Just make sure to contact us. One of the things I would like you to do is there's another video I did on what is an income rider. And remember I talked about in the video how income riders can solve for confinement care, etc. I cover that in that video pretty heavily, and you need to look at that. So contact us, Stan at StanTheAnnuityMan.com. You can get our books there. I'll send you those for free. You can listen to my podcast. I have a podcast on this, and I covered this long-term care subject in depth for about 22 minutes during the podcast. But click the subscribe button and make sure to join us next time. Stan The Annuity Man YouTube channel. See you next time.